Whoa, hey, we got a close-up.
And we're live. Welcome back to another Corona Geek, where we talk all about mobile app development using Corona SDK. I'm your host, Charles McKeever, and today we're talking about more desktop development stuff.
Yes, we are.
I'm excited. I'm so excited.
I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, you've done some awesome stuff. We're going to add players and enemies, and I think you sent me something over the weekend about zombies. That's, zombies are always good.
Yep.
So
I want to be a little bit surprised, but yeah, all that.
You want who to be surprised?
No, I mean what we got today.
Oh, okay.
I won't tell you.
Don't let the cat out of the bag. Okay, got it.
No cats out of bags. I like to hear the cat in the bag. Let me out.
We'll put that in post-production.
People are going to be like, what's the matter with that guy?
I know it.
Especially foreign cultures. They're like, I don't understand what he's saying. He sounds horrible.
Exactly. So hey guys, if you haven't been following along, we are doing a desktop development series. Now Corona supports Windows 32 and Mac desktop applications. This is sort of a we had to change the intro to the show. It's all about mobile app development, but I think that we need to maybe update it because it's definitely not just that anymore. And so it's kind of a new ground for us, new territory. And so we've been exploring this. In the last couple of shows, the first one we did, I think 2 shows ago, we talked about inputs, so keyboards and mouse. Last time we talked about some of the project decisions that you would have to make, desktop versus mobile, and we looked at configuration files and settings and stuff. And so if you haven't already, go over to youtube.com/CoronaGeek and watch those videos, and you can find all the Corona Geek videos over there. And then today we're going to do, like I said, the actual game. So we're going to start writing code, or hopefully writing code, on the actual game. Joining us on the panel, of course, is Ed Marina from roaminggamer.com. He's just smiling there. Smiling Ed.
I hope that means he's got some code. He's got that look on his face.
I'm going to start calling you Smiling Ed Marina.
Better than being frowny or grumpy. They call me in the forums. But anyway.
Also joining us is Dr. Brian Burton from burtonsmediagroup.com. Thanks you for joining us, Brian.
Hello.
And so we started the show a few minutes late here. I was in a discussion with the team. We were talking about user voice and the process that we want to use moving forward with updating user voice. So I don't know if you guys are familiar. I know you two are familiar with it, but user voice is available on the website at coronalabs.com, and you can actually find out what the Corona Labs team has completed and what they're working on, and you can also submit your feature requests and things like that. And so what we want to do is make sure that is as up to date as possible, so that you guys know what's going on. We want to be basically transparent in this whole thing. It's a conversation. It's not us telling you what is going to be in the SDK. It's you telling us and us telling you what we think we can do. So anyway, there was a kind of a long discussion that kind of went over, but the short of it is that in the coming weeks and months, you should look to user voice as a way to find out what's going on with Corona. Does that make sense? Do you guys have any feedback or suggestions or thoughts around user voice?
I love user voice. I use it all the time. I'm constantly on there giving my feedback to the developers on what I think is the highest priority, or at least is the highest priority to me. It's a neat feature to have, and if you haven't used it, use it.
Yeah, I agree, and you can find it at feedback.coronalabs.com, and it's an interesting thing, because there's people who will have ideas. There are new features that come out all the time. Apple comes out with something, or Android comes out with something, and then it goes into the system, and then we have to figure out. I say we, the engineers have to figure out what to do with it, right? Because there are some things that are obvious no-brainers, and then there are some things that require a little more thought, and especially because this is a cross-platform SDK, and the engineers try to make everything as seamless as possible, right? They call it having parity across the platforms, and what that means is, is this feature available only in iOS? Is this a feature available across the different, Android and iOS? How do you implement it in a way that's consistent things like that. So it's not just always a matter of, do we think that's a good idea or not. There's always this discussion about, what it would take to implement, where things are in the mobile space. I mean, it's a more involved conversation than most people would expect. Ed, what are you doing there? You got the feedback?
Yeah. So I really appreciate you including me in the in group when you said, well, I know you guys know what I'm talking about, but actually, you're talking about the feedback tool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because when you said user voice, my brain said, I don't know what that is. I never thought of it as user voice.
Oh, sorry. User voice is the service, basically, the platform that provides the.
I figured it out when I
system.
I know how to use Google, so.
Right.
I figured it out, but.
But yeah, it's feedback.coronalabs.com, and it's been integrated into the site so that it looks like it's part of the site, but it's actually a third-party tool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you had to see the conversation. It's like having the two little the demon and the angel, right? Like you said user voice, and the little guy on my shoulder said, "What's that?" And then over here, Charles, and I know you guys know about it. And the other guy on my shoulder's like.
I wasn't specifically talking about the user voices in your head. The voices in your head are different than user voice.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is. Just play along and pretend you know what it is. Google it real quick.
That's right. They're certainly different than the voices I have in my head. Well, anyway, that's enough of that. But you guys can expect us. We'll bring some of these topics on board to Corona Geek, because one of the things that I guess one of the issues, I guess you could say, that we have as a company is that we don't blow our own horn. We don't toot our own horn. We don't beat our own drum, right? The engineers, if you read the release docs, the engineers are continually rolling out requested features or bug fixes or whatever, right? And some things we talked about this on the show last time. There are some things that will go into the SDK that are groundbreaking things, but there's so many things to be done that the engineers just move on to the next thing. So some of that stuff needs to be surfaced, and somebody needs to to go out and be the town crier and say, look, all these things, this stuff happened, blah blah blah. And we try to do some of that here on Corona Geek, but we're also doing a lot of foundational work as well, right? Going back and saying, okay, how do you handle events? How do you create a platformer? How do you how to do things? And we just realized that one of the things we need to do is make sure that we're highlighting these things so that people are aware of them, because otherwise it's a lot of work and effort and not much fanfare. So we need a lot more fanfare.
Well, and if you participate in the user voice or the feedback tool, you get notifications when the feature is implemented. Which is kind of a happy dance there. You've got, woohoo! My feature has been implemented. I just need to go download the latest daily build, and it's an exciting option. And you find out, you're one of the first people to find out that the feature has been implemented and that you can take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I tell you, one of the engineers really care about the community, because they like to mark those things as completed. They like the community knowing that their requests have been answered. They also, on the other end of that, are concerned that they might falsely set expectations, right? So when some kind of feature comes out or something obvious that Apple has released that's going to need to be supported, you look at that stuff and you can go, well, we want to tell the community that we're looking at it, right? That we don't want to just leave a silence or a gap, and we want to be able to communicate that we're looking at it. But the problem with that is that some people may, construe that as being, oh, they're working on it. Oh, it's going to be a feature, And you talked about that 15 seconds ago, and so where is it, And one of the things that we're trying to work through right now is, how do we communicate to someone that we've had this discussion, right? That the discussion has even happened, but yet we have not committed to that particular item just yet. Not that we won't do it, or not that we will do it. It's just a matter of, when do you shoot up a flare to say, okay, well, hey, now we are definitely working on that, and you can look for something in the future. So we're trying to work through that as well, because we don't want to get anybody excited about something and then say, well, okay, that never panned out. And I think that's important to be consistent. You just want to be consistent with the community.